A mother and her significant other are reportedly under arrest after allegedly performing multiple plastic surgeries on a 14-year-old girl, which her father believes led to her death. He says he uncovered the shocking truth at this girl's funeral and immediately contacted authorities. Now an investigation has apparently led to charges. We are getting insight from an attorney who practices in Mexico on what happens next. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. This is another Law and Crime legal alert. There are allegations claiming that online apps like DraftKings, ESPN Bet, BetMGM, Bet365, Fanatics Sportsbook, Caesars Sportsbook, that they are engineered for addiction. These multi-billion-dollar companies allegedly continue to put profit over safety. Every small payout, free bet, boosted parlay can trigger a dopamine rush that creates dependency and a destructive habit. They can keep users hooked and trap people in a cycle that can lead to serious financial loss. While our legal sponsors are taking on the online gambling industry to seek justice and potential compensation. So if you or a loved one has struggled with addiction or financial hardship or mental health issues due to sports betting apps, then visit gamblinglawsuits.com/sidebar to take a short quiz and check your eligibility to file a claim. A Mexican couple has reportedly been arrested and charged in connection with the death of Paloma Nicole Arellano Escobedo, a 14-year-old who died in September at a private medical clinic in Durango. According to reporting from multiple news outlets in Mexico, one of the suspects, Paloma Nicole's own mother, Paloma Yasmin, told Paloma Nicole's father, Carlos, that she had died from complications of COVID-19. The problem with that is he apparently discovered during his daughter's funeral that his daughter had obviously had cosmetic surgeries done, including breast augmentation. The Arizona Republic, this news outlet here in the United States, published a statement reportedly from Carlos via the prosecutor's office in Durango, and that statement says, quote, "At the funeral, some relatives told me her breasts were larger than what she had before, and when I mentioned it to her mother, she told me it wasn't true, that she didn't know anything. That night, I asked her mother to leave the room so I could talk to the girl to say my goodbyes. For some reason, she didn't want to. I managed to convince her and her entire family to leave, and they did. My sister, my sister-in-law, my mother, and I stayed inside. They examined my daughter, and sure enough, she had breast implants. We have photographs of the implants and the scars." Now, Paloma Yasmin and Carlos, they are apparently divorced. And Paloma Yasmin got remarried to a plastic surgeon, Dr. Victor Manuel Rosales Galindo. MSV Noticias reports that Rosales Galindo allowed his wife to work alongside him during medical procedures and surgeries. The problem with that is, apparently, she didn't study medicine. Now, this alleged breast augmentation, liposuction, butt lift surgeries, they were reportedly an early 15th birthday gift for Paloma Nicole. Carlos says he knew nothing about these surgeries and wouldn't have given his permission if he had. Paloma Nicole's death certificate, it lists her causes of death as cerebral edema, hypoxic encephalopathy, and bradycardia. And as far as we know, results of an autopsy haven't been released as of yet. But it's now being reported that Paloma Nicole's mother and stepfather were arrested on September 27th, the same day that Carlos led a march in Durango calling for justice. According to outlet Diario de Morelos, Paloma Yasmin is accused of neglect of care, so exposing a minor to unnecessary risks without the endorsement of the other parent, and practicing medicine without a license, while Rosales Galindo faces charges of abandonment and improper practice of medical service. There are also accusations of forgery in connection with the documents showing Paloma Nicole had tested positive for COVID-19. In fact, according to El Siglo de Durango, the head of the Commission for the Protection Against Health Risks of the state of Durango recently confirmed that the COVID-19 certificate was a fake, that the signature on it was forged. The Mexican Association of Plastic, Aesthetic, and Reconstructive Surgery suspended Rosales Galindo on September 24th, referred his case to its ethics committee. This is per Diario de Morelos. On October 3rd, according to El Siglo de Durango, the couple had what amounts to what we call here in the United States a preliminary hearing, where apparently a judge determined that there was enough evidence for the two of them to go to trial. MVS Noticias reports that the two are being held in pretrial detention. They're expected to go to trial early next year. So to talk about this case, to talk about this investigation, as well as how the whole system works, I want to welcome back onto Sidebar. I'm so happy to have him, Mexican attorney German Terriquez Cordova. Thank you so much for taking the time. This is a really, really shocking case. I'm imagining it's shocking people in Mexico as well, because people are seeing it around the world. What is the reaction from people that you have seen?
Hi, Jesse Weber. Thank you to see you. Happy to see you again. Yes, in Mexico, we are in shock with this case from the minor Paloma Nicole. Yes, the debate in Mexico, it's about the minor surgeries. Obviously, the mother and the boyfriends, the doctor for the mother, in this moment, it's in jail, and obviously all the Mexican community and the legal community is in shock with this case.
The charges that they're facing right now, how serious are they? Are they charges that you see a lot? How should we be thinking about these charges?
Yes, first of all, it's important that you know, Jesse, that the mother in this moment is charged for two offenses. The first is negligence of care, and the second one is the misrepresentation of the profession. The offense or the punishment for the offense is not too high. Actually, for negligence of care, it's 3 months to 2 years for prison. And for the another one, misrepresentation of profession is 6 months to 4 years. It's not too high in this moment for the mother. And for the doctor, in this moment, the prosecution is charged for the offense for improper practice for medical services. That offense established a penalty in the penal code for Durango for 1 year to 3 years. But remember, Jesse Weber, the prosecution in Durango in this moment is waiting for a pathological expert medical report. When the prosecution gets that medical report, and if the medical report establishes that the doctor has not a due diligence in the surgery with the minor, I'm sure that the prosecution for Durango is gonna charge the doctor additional 2 offenses. Obviously, first of all, medical negligence, and another one, involuntary homicide. But in this moment, this is the charge that they are facing off.
Thank you for explaining that. Does this doctor also face forgery charges, that he forged signatures?
In this moment, the prosecution is not charged that offense. But obviously, I think in the investigation, we can get more information about this case, because yes, in the media established that the doctor may be right that he's the guardian for the minor, and that is not true. That is not true. It's the father who present the criminal lawsuit against them.
They're in jail right now, right?
Yes.
What happens next? How soon do they go to a trial?
Okay. Well, it's important for your audience, Jesse Weber, that in this moment, it's the investigation timeline. The prosecution and the judge ordered 3 months to continue with the investigation and try to prove all the charge that the prosecution is investigated. So, well, the Constitution in Mexico established the timeline for 1 year. So, well, if the mother and the doctor take the choice to go for a trial, the judge needs to schedule that trial in 1 year as a maximum time. 1 year, because the Mexican Constitution established that. Obviously, the doctor and the mother can try, in Mexico, the prosecution can offer, in Mexico it names procedimiento abreviado. It's like accept the charge for the prosecution for another penalty, less severe.
Will they go to trial together, or will there be separate trials?
No, if the prosecution is investigating this case in the same criminal file. So, well, if they decide go to the trial, they're gonna be together to the trial.
From what you've seen in this case, from what has been reported, do you think that this is an easy case for prosecutors to get a conviction for both of them? And by the way, in the United States, we have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. To convict somebody, it's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Is that the same thing in Mexico? So 2 things. What is the standard? Is it proof beyond a reasonable doubt to convict somebody of a crime? And do you think that this is a strong case?
Yes, well, It's equal in Mexico. The judge needs to prove beyond the reasonable doubt to order the person is guilty or not, equal than the US. I think, in my point of view, Jesse, that offense for the mother, negligence of care and misrepresentation of profession, it's an easy case to prove. That the two offense for the mother, and for the doctor, the first offense that he's charged and investigated in this moment, improper practice of medical services, I think it's an easy case too. Why? Because the prosecution is established that obviously the doctor go for the surgery for the minor without the consent for the father. In my point of view, it's easy to prove that. But in Mexico, obviously, I don't know if in the US it's equal, but in Mexico, the medical negligence, it's a hard case because it's a technical case and implies, and we need a lot of experts' medical opinions.
Right.
And well, it's a technical case. So, well, if the prosecution, my point of view, it's going to happen like this, is going to charge the doctor for medical negligence and involuntary homicide when they have the medical expert reports. They're going to be to charge the doctor with that offense, but it's not going to be an easy case. That is going to be my point of view.
In terms of defenses, tell me what those are here. Would it be there's no law against performing surgeries on minors, that this doctor had the permission of the mother, or, and I think this is what you were saying, whatever he may have allegedly done didn't cause the death of this 14-year-old? Are those the three main defenses?
Yes, in Mexico, we don't have a lot of medical law in terms for minors. And yes, actually, the representative for each state and the congressman is trying to get more law for the minors. But yes, the Mexican law is not established in the criminal codes that a doctor who make a surgery to a minor is going to be charged with a specific offense. So, well, I think this is going to be the strategies for the defense in this case, right?
Is there a jury or is there a judge who decides the case?
No, it's going to be a judge, the person.
Judge?
Yeah, sure, it's a criminal
One person.
case.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in Mexico, we don't have jury.
Okay. There's something else I wanted to mention to you and to all of our viewers. It's our understanding, as this case is going viral and a lot of people are talking about it, there are lawmakers in Durango that have presented an initiative called Nicole's Law, that would prevent anyone under the age of 18 from getting cosmetic surgeries, and it would impose severe penalties for doctors who perform them without some sort of medical justification. Is there anything you can tell us about Nicole's Law, if you're familiar with it?
Not a lot. It's for that I'm trying to explain you that the representatives and the congressman is trying to do more law, more medical law to avoid that surgeries, because it's like it's going viral, this case, and the prosecution is trying to charge the doctor with the offense that appears in the penal code from Durango. But we don't have, my point of view is we don't have in Durango a lot of law that prevent that scenarios.
Right. Lawmaker Sandra Amaya Rosales had this to say, translated from Spanish. This is according to El Siglo de Durango. Quote, "It was not a necessary medical emergency or treatment. It was a cosmetic procedure that should never have been done, but that the law did not prevent. Nicole died not only from medical malpractice, but from institutional omission. She died because there is no rule that expressly prohibits these surgeries in minors, and that legal silence allowed a girl to be treated as if she had the maturity to decide on something as irreversible as surgery." Herman, thank you so much for taking the time. Really, really appreciate it. And if there's something that happens in this case or another case, we would love to have you back on the show.
Thank you, Jesse Weber. Thank you for the trust.
And that is all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow me on X or Instagram. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll see you next time.